Hey everybody, my name is Mark Mongiardo. My body produces alcohol. I'm a former teacher, coach, and athletic director. I spent 15 years of my career in education. After 2 DWIs in 6 months where I had not been drinking, I lost everything as a result of my disorder. I lost my career, my home, I lost my family, my wife and 2 children for 3 years while I was living long distance trying to start a new life and a new career. I have auto-brewery syndrome. It's a rare condition where my body produces its own alcohol from carbohydrates and sugar. Please help me spread awareness so no one has to go through what I went through. Go to auto-brewery.org to learn more about the devastating disorder, and you can also download case studies. What I wanted to do today to clear up some questions is I wanted to read my statement that I wrote to the grand jury. This was December 21st, 2020. My name is Mark Mongiardo. I'm here today because I truly feel that if I present the information surrounding my case in person to all of you, that you will better and fully understand what has transpired in my life over the course of the last 2 years. These past 2 years have been the most difficult years of my life. I've lost everything that I hold dear. I've lost my job, my career in education that spanned 15 years as a teacher, coach, and athletic director. I've lost my home. I was forced to sell both my cars, and I've essentially lost my family. My beautiful wife and best friend Gina, and my loving children, my daughter Giovanna, and my son Marco. My family lives in New York with my wife's parents. My children go to school, they play soccer, they go to gymnastics, they have religion class, they celebrate birthdays and holidays, and they do that all without their father. Their father is living in Florida with his parents. We are not separated because we want to be separated. We are separated because we have to be separated. When I lost my job and career with pending felonies in New York State, there was no employment for me. I tried to get a new job but was unsuccessful. I went on unemployment, but with my wife and 2 children, I needed to move forward with my life and try to obtain gainful employment. With pending charges and my fingerprints on hold with the New York State Board of Education, my career in education is essentially on hold, hopefully just temporarily. Unable to obtain work in New York, I flew down to Florida on March 14, 2020, and scheduled a 2-week real estate class that began on March 16th. By Tuesday, March 17th, the pandemic hit. The course was canceled indefinitely, and I was again forced to look for work while quarantined in Florida and my family quarantined in New York. I was able to interview and obtain a position as a seasonal team member at Target and worked in that capacity from March until this past November when I was promoted to team leader. I work full-time in Florida while my family is living their lives full-time in New York. I've missed the birthdays of my wife and children. I've been alone on my birthday, on Father's Day. I've missed the first day of school, both my children's soccer season and gymnastics season, religion class, and just recently missed Thanksgiving with my family, and I wasn't there to celebrate my son's 4th birthday. I wake up each day and I try to get through each day, listening to stories of my children's days at school or practice, and hopefully get to FaceTime at least once before they fall asleep. That is my life. Although it's difficult to accept, I have accepted it. As a coach and teacher, I've always taught my teams and my students to be resilient in the face of adversity. I'm truly practicing what I've preached for years, and I'm doing the best that I can. Even when my wife cries that she misses me, or my children cry for me to come home, the fact is Florida is my home and New York is their home. And that's not going to change until my current legal situation is resolved. I'm hopeful that we will once again, sometime soon, have a home of our own and can start to live a normal life together as a family. That is what drives me to be strong, my hopes and my dreams. On April 30th, 2019, I was working as an athletic director. I had a school district leader exam scheduled for May 1st. Instead of going home to my family and studying and getting rest, I attended the boys' golf match to support the golf team, since I had not had a chance to get to a match that year, so far during the season. After the match, I bought both teams dinner consisting of a hot dog, french fries, and soft drink, of which I partook as well. I sat down with both teams and I had dinner with them. Leaving the match, I called the Board of Education Vice President to discuss a hazing incident. There was a bullying incident and I wanted to get more information on it. I was pulled over because I was using a handheld device. I was on my phone. Unfortunately, due to my unidentified medical disability, the carbohydrates from the bread of the hot dog caused a terrible physical reaction in my body, which no one, including myself, could understand at the time. After some research and consulting with various individuals in the healthcare field, I was referred to Dr. Prasanna Wickremesing, a gastroenterologist at the University of Richmond Medical Center in Staten Island. My Aunt Gilda, the Vice President of Government Affairs at NYU Medical Center, accompanied me to the visit. She was extremely skeptical and needed to see for herself. I met with Dr. Wick for an initial consultation and was scheduled for an emergency colonoscopy and endoscopy. After hours of speaking and working with the doctors, the stress and emotional anguish resulted in my aunt personally seeing what we call in the auto-brewery Facebook support group as flares. I didn't know it at the time, but my aunt immediately called my mother to inform her that she detected a strong smell of alcohol as we shared a ride home back to New Jersey. A flare is what we in the support group call the moment when an individual's blood alcohol content increases as a result of our disorder. The flares happen randomly and can result from ingesting carbohydrates, sugar, and from my understanding may result from abnormal stress levels, which naturally are associated with the disorder. Flares can vary in BAC from as low as 0.02 to as high as 0.20 or higher. My last flare and my recent was my BAC elevated to a 0.26, causing me to essentially be bedridden for 3 straight days. My aunt's husband, my Uncle Robert, who was also an administrator in healthcare for over 30 years, offered to drive me to my scheduled colonoscopy and endoscopy, as he was also skeptical and he needed to see for himself. He drove me to the procedure, was with me in recovery, and even drove alone from New Jersey to Staten Island the following week to get my results and letter of confirmation from Dr. Wick the following week. As you may or may not be aware, I have a confirmed diagnosis of endogenous ethanol fermentation syndrome, also known as auto-brewery syndrome, gut fermentation alcohol syndrome. I was referred to the University of Richmond Medical Center in Staten Island. On Thursday, May 16, 2019, I underwent endoscopy and colonoscopy at the medical center. Immediately thereafter, under the supervision of doctors and nurses, I was given a glucose challenge test. The glucose challenge test is imperative in diagnosing the disease. I had to drink 2 Trutol 100 glucose tolerance beverages with 100 grams of dextrose. The purpose is to determine if after ingesting the beverages, my body would produce alcohol on its own without ingesting any alcoholic beverage. They took my blood and gave me a breathalyzer every hour for 4 hours after the glucose challenge test. Before the test, I was 0.00 on my blood and my breath. Within the first hour, my blood alcohol content was 0.06 and my breath was 0.13. My blood alcohol content reached as high as 0.099 that day. I've had other flares where it's reached as high as 0.26, which is extremely high. I wanted to point out that the glucose challenge test is very important. Like I said, I was in a controlled setting. I was in a hospital setting where they came in, they took my breath and my blood, and then they put a pick in my arm and they tested my breath and my blood starting about 30 minutes after I took the glucose challenge test. These videos, the max video for what I'm putting up on social media is 10 minutes. I'm about 9 minutes right now. I know I said that I wanted to go live and to do some questions and answers. I think I'm going to do that a little bit later since most people are at work right now. But I did want to just hop on, tell a little bit about my story with regards to my grand jury statement, and I'll be hopping on a little bit later today to continue with that grand jury statement and kind of break down a little bit more of what went on over those years, the last 20 years, currently, as well as while I was going through diagnosis. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Thank you again for following along. Please go to autobrewery.org to get more answers, and you can also download case studies. Thank you very much, everybody.